Look. Would you look at that? This is Dmitry Bivol's arm after facing Canelo Alvarez. We see Canelo's little cheat code move and tactic. That's what I'll talk about in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Let me jump right into it for the boxing fans. Now, this video is from Fight Hub TV. You see Dmitry Bivol in this screen cap. He's getting ready to pull up his sleeve because he was mentioning that as he was fighting Canelo Alvarez was trying to do what he famously did to Callum Smith, another taller, bigger than Canelo opponent. And the difference is Dmitry Bivol ate them and the tactic did not work. What tactic is this? The tactic was to Charlie horse or punch and rough up, bruising the arm of the opponent. Now, Canelo was coming off a decent layoff because he was suing Golden Boy Promotions and trying to get out of his contract. He also put DAZN on the lawsuit. His first fight back as a free agent with DAZN was the Callum Smith fight. So Callum Smith is a tall guy, around 6'3" to 6'5", somewhere in there. So he's much taller than Canelo Alvarez is. So this is one of the tactics that Canelo Alvarez used for that opponent. British fighter. He fought his brother Liam Smith as well at 154 pounds, and it worked. Callum Smith, he had never fought anyone remotely close to Canelo. I do not believe he has the same type of amateur pedigree like Dmitry Bivol, who has over 300 amateur fights and a great amateur record. So completely different ball game. Let's take another look at it again so you guys can see. The link is in the description in case you want to watch the video itself where the information comes from, as always. And let's look at that arm. Damn, Daniel. His arm is all busted up. His arm is all bruised from Canelo constantly punching it and bruising his arm in combat. Now, again, Canelo is the guy who is shorter in stature, and this is clearly a tactic that Canelo, he practices. Like, I watch a lot of boxing, so I pick up on the little nuanced things. And when you watch boxing as intently as I have big eyes for a reason, the better to see you with. And I noticed from round one, like if you literally have the fight, if you have the DAZN app or whatnot, and you go back and look at the fight, that Canelo Alvarez, he was like loading up with the right hand particularly, and he was turning it over with this, it was this type of torque that it was kind of unusual. It was kind of unusual, like the way he was turning over the punches. Everyone doesn't punch like that. Triple G, he similarly has this one punch, you know, I don't even know what it's called because it's kind of unique to this individual fighter. Like, I notice all these little things. Like, for example, Leo Santa Cruz, sometimes when he's in a battle and it's like a war, he'll start shaking his gloves. And then I remember I went to the Frampton 2 fight and I interviewed Leo Santa Cruz and I'm like, what's up with why do you shake your gloves? And it's just something he does. Or you look at guys like Omar Figueroa, and he does this weird feint thing with his head as he's fighting. And he just repeatedly does it. And there's these little nuanced things that are exclusive to fighters. But as far as Triple G, Golovkin, hey, no, guys, hey, Max, he does this punch, specifically Triple G, where he like punches the opponent on the top of the head like a chopping punch, and I'm not even sure if it's legal. But I noticed this with Canelo Alvarez, and you see the effects of Dmitry Bivol's arm. As far as Callum Smith, his arm was a lot worse in the end because, one, he got embarrassed and lost every round. But if you watch this fight, you'll see Canelo throwing the punch that I'm referring to using the right hand. So I got some screen caps, and you see Canelo was throwing all power. This is only in round one, and Canelo was trying to hit Bivol in his arm. And the punch, it's just a weird punch the way he's throwing it. But you guys can see from these photos, since Bivol's a taller opponent, I guess that became the game plan to target this man's arm, which is non-scoring. But you see right here, bow. Dmitry Bivol and Joel Diaz did their homework because they anticipated, and a nice stiff jab stops Canelo from landing on the arm. So they must have watched the Caleb Smith fight and or got hints or know people that sparred him or whatever. And Dmitry Bivol did a good job, like you see right here, keeping his distance. But Canelo tried again and kept hitting him in the arm. Now, although Dmitry Bivol had a pretty tight defense and overall great fundamentals, it's still caught up. You have a guy loading up with every shot like Canelo Alvarez, especially early in the fight when he was more aggressive. Dmitry Bivol over the course of the fight was able to tame Canelo to a degree, and Canelo became far and few in between, but he's still got his arm tattooed from Canelo lobbing these home run power swings at his arm. And although this might be legal in terms of there's no specific rule that prohibits it, I guess, punching somebody full force on the arms, that is not a scoring blow from a judge's perspective. So I think it's kind of chintzy, it's kind of cheesy that Eddie Reynoso, this is clearly something that they're teaching and working on, and it looks like against formidable, bigger opponents, this is kind of a go-to thing. I would have to actually look at deeper now that I know the little cheat code that they use and explore past Canelo Alvarez fights to see if he was doing it as much with Julio Cesar Chavez or if it's something that more or less they've perfected in recent memory or after, you know, the Caleb Smith fight to present day. I don't know. I don't really know exactly when they started doing this, but I've been noticing it. You're trying to deaden somebody's arm and Charlie horse their arm. You would kind of expect more legal or flashy scoring shots, headshots, body shots. So this is a new method for Canelo Alvarez to try to debilitate his opponent. And I guess instead of doing the work in terms of headshots and body shots and slowing them down that way, this is something that Eddie Reynoso or Canelo, they've learned or concocted over the way. And I think it's a little bit weak, just if I'm being frank, for somebody who was touted and goated like Canelo Alvarez and listed at pound for pound #1. He was kind of the consensus pound for pound one person, at least to old media. And then this is your real game plan. I think overall Canelo's game plan was very foolish. He was doing all power shots. He fought, ironically, very similar to Teofimo Lopez, where Teofimo seemed to have disrespected the opponent and he was loading up on all power, trying to get Kambosos out of there. And that's just not the sweet science. Canelo Alvarez, even in the lighter weight classes, that's not really what he's known for doing. He's more of a boxer puncher. He didn't fight against Kirkland. Like, of course, he showed great power and great combinations, but that wasn't the game plan to just load up on every shot. But as Canelo's gotten in the higher weight classes, he's almost changed his style and he's even more flat-footed. He's always had slow feet and submit, but he's even more flat-footed, and it's even more so the case. And now all of a sudden, maybe he got a little too big for his britches or a little overconfident, and now he's trying to load up, and I guess he thinks he can hurt everybody, including much bigger guys. It's just not really a smart game plan. But Dmitry Bivol in this interview, he took it like a champ. And he said, I can fight again. I can fight right now. So he was fully prepared for the Canelo cheat code, and he was ready, and him and his team, shout out to them. They had a masterful performance and a masterpiece of a game plan. They really did their homework on Eddie Reynoso and Canelo, because it seemed like they blocked all of Canelo's doors. Canelo definitely, if he does rematch, he's definitely going to have to throw a lot more jabs, and this so-called cheat code punching Bivol in the arm, it literally had no effect. He said, I'm ready to fight again. So they're going to have to come a lot stronger to beat Bivol. I think that's a super dangerous fight in the rematch, especially since Bivol knows what he knows, tasted Canelo's power, speed, and things like that. Let me know how I did in this video. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. We're trying to hit new goals and reach new people, so you guys can help. Leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this sneaky little subtle legal but kind of cheesy cheat code from Eddie Reynoso and Canelo Alvarez. And I'm out. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC, Bluetooth ready, with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.